And look at the... Oh, what a goal! Shea Adams! It's them closer towards the back post. Jukovic in there. Jukovic! Oh, what a header! This man is on red-hot form at St Andrews at the moment.
And it goes again towards the towering Zigic. Oh, confusion at Martins has surely scored the winning goal for Birmingham City.
Hello and welcome to Blues Talk, the official Birmingham City Football Club podcast, giving you unparalleled access behind the scenes here at Blues. My name is Callum and Dale, Dale Moon alongside me, and joining us later on, we'll have an exclusive interview with the man of the moment, the birthday boy, Garry Monk. He'll be joining us, and also we'll catch up with the skipper, Michael Morrison, head of the small matter of a little match here at St Andrews on Sunday. And we'll have a look back at our trip to the northeast to take on Hull. So on the way here on Blues Talk.
The Blues Talk podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.
Right, Dale, hello, we're here in the Gil Merrick studio.
Yes, Callum Denning. What a week in store. What a week to launch a new podcast.
Anything happening? Have I missed the memo about something here?
I don't know if it's nerves, excitement, a mixture of both. But yeah, it's finally here. And it seems like this week is dragged on.
It has gone on a bit, hasn't it?
Dragged on. So, yeah, glad that we are, just a day away now?
Yeah, well, we're recording this now at the weekend, but it feels like Monday was weeks and weeks ago. You know, coming back from Hull, building up that expectation, and now we're finally approaching the big one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Literally, on the way back from Hull, we were talking about it, and I can't remember who we spoke to. I think it was Morrow on the back of our feature that we're going to play shortly, but he said, like, on the coach on the way back from Hull, the players are talking about Villa. All attention turns to this game on Sunday, and I cannot wait to get going. The atmosphere in itself is going to be crazy.
Well, we'll talk about them in a minute, but what are we doing here? I think we need to explain what this is, what we're about.
Yeah.
I mean, why the two of us are just sat here effectively chatting rubbish in the studio.
Yeah.
What are we doing? This is Blues Talk.
Yeah, for me, podcasts at the minute are a fantastic way of breaking down barriers. It's not the conventional format of Q&A style interviews, and I think it's a great way of being a more relaxed format of bringing supporters, access to players, access to management staff, backroom staff, exclusive chats that you can't get anywhere else in a more informal style. I think people's and players themselves will tell you they still get nervous when a camera and the lights are on them, and they feel like...
So do I, mate. So do I.
And that, you know, they feel like they have to say the right thing and how they look and whether they've got their Barnett cut the day before. You know, how many times have we wanted an interview with a player and they'll say, "Oh, I haven't got a fresh trim, so I can't do it."
Mentioning no names.
Yeah, that will say, you know, we're not going to reveal who those players are, but this is a great way of just having a very informal chat with a player. We can talk about anything they feel, and I think the barriers come down a little bit when we do it.
Well, behind the scenes access is what it's all about for the supporters, and we will be giving you the biggest behind the scenes access we can muster, starting with this episode. We're going to the gaffer's office.
Yeah.
We're going to have a chat with the gaffer.
Yeah, he's what a guy. I mean, he's been brilliant, hasn't he, since he walked in. I mean, it's a fantastic job that he's done, a year this week in the job, so we can reflect upon those 12 months and just how far the club have come. I think it's amazing when you think it's only 12 months ago, the whole mood around the club and how it's been turned on its head under Garry Monk.
We'll have a chat about that in just a moment, and also get his thoughts as well on a year here at St Andrews. But first, I think we'll start by having a look back at the whole match. I think we got a bad form out of the way.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, as the manager said straight after the game, it was 3 games in a week. And I know supporters still feel like, well, they're professional athletes. They should be able to do 90 minutes 3 times in a week. I get that. But to go to a Hull side whose home form is great, I think they won 6 of their last 7 at home, so they're particularly strong. They're a side who have shown already this season that they can go on a streak of wins over January. It was December, January time. They were on that fantastic run that propelled them away from danger and started looking up towards the playoff spots. So to go there, and they've got a vast array of attacking talent. And I think, as the manager alluded to afterwards, the lads probably it was a game too far for them. Lots of effort put into the Blackburn game here at St Andrews. To then go on the road to Bristol and get the result we did. And I thought they were fantastic at Bristol, to go to another tough away day and come away with 3 points. To then ask them to do it again. They did look a little bit jaded, the players. It probably took a little bit out of them. So no excuses, as the manager said. It's a disappointing result, but there are probably reasons you can point to as to why the result was as it was.
We're in the spirit of looking back this week, and I think as well it's worth mentioning. Let's compare where we were last season when we went up to Hull. 6-1 defeat. We don't want to touch on that too much.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you go back there. Caretaker manager Lee Carsley comes in. Steve Cottrell was obviously in the stands. Club, you talk about how it feels like a stable club now. We have a manager who's ambitious, but who gets the club. He's been here for a year now. You can see the upward trajectory that the club have been on, a steady trajectory that they've been on since he joined. And at that time, we go to a Hull side who again were free scoring and put 6 past us, and you come away and you think, well, we've bottomed out now. Can it get any worse than this? So not one that will live long in the memory. But to go there this time, not the result we wanted, but quickly all attention's turned to this Sunday. One
thing that will live long in the memory, it's one of the weirdest things I think I've ever seen happen at a football ground. What happened at half time?
At the Hull game?
Yeah.
Amazing. So as press, we're standing there and a few will go down and get a coffee and a tea for their half-time interval, and we're standing there. The alarm goes off, instructing everyone to make their way to the exits because there's been an incident in the ground, which the first time it goes off, you're having a look around and think, forget it, I ain't going anywhere. We've got a job to do. Midway through a game, it must be a false alarm.
Yeah.
30 seconds pass and no one's moving. The music cuts dead. So there everyone's thinking, it's a bit moody. And then, the second time the alarm comes off, again, instructed everyone to make their way to the exits. Don't use the lift because there's been an incident. So we slowly started to make our way down the stairwell, and eventually they said it was a false alarm. So someone pressed the wrong button somewhere, and was probably in a lot of trouble for it. But I think given the scoreline, it was probably one of our players trying to get the game off.
Is that the highlight you're taking away from it? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. Well, let's move on to a slightly more cheerful topic then.
Yeah.
Pop down to the Trillion Trophy Training Centre not 2-3 days ago.
Yeah, midweek. So it was the gaffer's birthday, the big 4-0. So me and Callum managed to weave our way into his office in the deepest, darkest corners of the Trillion Trophy Training Centre. And grab a great chat with the manager. As you'll hear, he talks in depth about Blues Villa, what it means. His understanding of it has obviously became clearer since he moved to the city. About how old he feels, where the team are at the minute. He talks a little bit about the whole FFP situation or profit and sustainability that's hanging over the club. So he does allude to that. So a worthwhile chat with the man in the hot seat.
The Blues Talk Podcast.
Hi chaps.
Gav, how you doing?
Good. You?
Sitting here in the office. Yeah, I think the only place to start is with the fact that we're sitting here now, and
that you want this seat.
He's a better seat out of the three. On your 40th birthday. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday
from everyone at Blues.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
No. Let's go one better than that.
Yeah.
We've got you a cake, Gaffer.
Yeah.
We have.
Good man.
We're going to have to put the candles in it live.
Oh, a little football cake.
Yeah. No expense spared.
The problem is my son will kick that around.
We've got a
I'll
light
take
around
that
candles.
Are we causing a fire hazard here? Or
Well, maybe we can leave that
There's
with
a
you, and you
small
can
one.
light that as and when you want to.
Cheers, chaps.
But we'll give you the light. We'll throw the light
There's a
in
light
for free as well.
Yeah, it's an added bonus.
Appreciate that, fellas.
That's part of it.
Good
Do you
lads.
feel 40, Gaffer?
No. About 60. I look 60, but I am 40.
No.
Nah, it's just a number now, isn't it?
Is it?
Once you get past 30 was the hardest one.
Yeah.
I think because I was still playing, so 30 was like I think the perception in football was, when you get to 30, you're coming towards the end.
Yeah.
So I didn't take 30 very well.
Yeah.
Went to restaurant with the missus. We didn't speak all night. I was in a foul mood. Caused an argument. Didn't speak.
Yeah.
At the meal, went home from a 30. So now,
Perfect.
since that point, they've all been. Don't really count them anymore, do you?
No. What do you get nice? Have you opened your presents yet?
Again, you don't get much when you get older.
Yeah, the presents then dwindle, don't
Yeah.
they?
It's like no one cares.
Yeah, you're right.
So I had a bit of
the
a
point?
pop at the family this morning because
Yeah.
I think I got they gave me a nice card actually. It was like a card made out of chocolate bars.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the writing linked with the chocolate
okay.
bars.
Okay, yeah.
So which was quite a clever idea.
I like it.
But that was it. So
A lot of effort's probably
I
gone.
really appreciated the effort,
Yeah.
But in terms of everything else, I was disappointed.
Big week though. Year in the job. This Monday just gone.
Yeah.
So did you get all the cards for that instead, or what? Is that what's happened?
No, not really. No, it's been great, hasn't it?
How quick's it gone for you?
Some weeks are quicker than others. Yeah, it depends, doesn't it? When you're winning and you've got momentum, you know what I mean, things seem to go quick, and then if you suffer a setback, you know what I mean, it seems an age for that next game to try and put it right. So it all changes, doesn't it? But then when you look the bigger picture, if it's, you know, it's a year, yeah, I think it's the same thing in life, doesn't it? It seems to go quick. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it seems to have gone quick this year.
I remember when you first walked into the press conference. I think it was down in the dungeon that we have to use, and you almost had to lift the press up because we were sitting. A lot of the members of the press who regularly attend the press conferences are sitting there, and we're still a little bit down. Results hadn't been great.
I just thought it was your personality.
You had to almost say, "Come on, guys!" Like, and then ever since then, have you surprised yourself by just how much has changed in 12 months from that moment you walked through the door and had to assess things to where you are now?
I'm not surprised. I think it's just more, just delighted with that side of it. I think, I just think from same thing. If you think about that first day, you're talking about it like that to where everyone is now. Yeah. It's not that everyone comes in all singing and dancing and every single day, but it's the feeling and the much more positive feeling, isn't it? And that was a big thing to try and change. We needed that immediately, didn't we? Because of the relegation fight we had. But then I think we've just everyone's recognised that from the end of last season and kind of got on board with that, and that's everyone. Do you know what I mean? It's not just us guys up here, but it's all of you guys, the staff, the local journalists, the fans, and everyone. I think they're just being much more upbeat. And I said at the start, that's the only way that you can get out of the situation we were in at the end of last season, but also try and enhance it going forward. So I think it's been great. The mood's great. I think when you take setbacks, it's not all doom and gloom, even though you're not happy about them. Yeah. But that's the difference between turning a setback into a real negative or turning a setback into a feeling of you want to respond. So I think that's been a big difference this year, according especially to you guys and everyone that's been here from before. So that was a big thing to do, wasn't it? And it's been great.
You got any highlights from the last 12 months?
It's hard, isn't it?
One moment. I know you look back like the Fulham games, one a lot of fans too.
The Bolton game at the end of last season was a standout, wasn't it? And the Fulham game was that was an incredible atmosphere. Yeah. And then there's always games, isn't there, that stand out in your mind.
Big games, big wins.
Yeah. I think it's just been the whole process. I think it's been great. Yeah. Everyone's been on board. The players have worked hard. The staff, the fans. There's a long way to go. I do think there's a lot, of course, of other things that we've all talked about. We're all well of that we need to. The club needs to get back on track and get everything sorted. But hopefully that will be done and take whatever happens this year and be able to build upon it. That's the ultimate aim. Yeah. That's what has to happen. And that's really what we're focused on. But loads of highlights, not just on the pitch, but things like off the pitch, Jeff's foundation, the club's work in the community. Yeah. I think everyone's really enjoyed that side of it, haven't we?
I think that's what a lot of supporters still comment on now. As good as the results have been on the pitch, especially to first of all keep the club in the division, and then how it's been this year to be challenging on the right end of the table. But the off the field side of things has almost superseded any of that. Yeah,
it's the bond, isn't it? Yeah. Between the fans and the club, it's better than I think. Yeah, we've known it for many years.
Yeah. I like people keep saying, I think Harley Dean said it a few weeks back. It's a working man's club. They feel part of the community, close to us as a club and to its supporters, and to build that bridge again, which I think now is probably as good as it's been for a good few years.
That's good. It's vitally important, isn't it? Yeah. I think it goes hand in hand. Yeah, primarily my work and the players and everyone is what goes on the pitch and what happens on the training on a daily basis. But I also feel that as a player and anyone, you've got to feel a connection with the club. Do you know what I mean? You've got to understand who you're working for and what it means to people outside of you. I've said it from the start. When you put that shirt on, it doesn't just represent you and your family and each other up here. It represents a whole community, and that means a lot more than it's bigger than you, isn't it? Yeah. But I think if you have a feeling for it, I think that just helps. Did you have
a feeling for it before you joined the job? Before you joined the club?
I just recognised it. Obviously, in my career, my playing career, especially at Swansea, which was probably my most successful period, there was that bond. Do you know what I mean? So there was all the football and all the training, all those things. Of course, primarily that's the job, but I think every player that came into that club at that point, and obviously us that have been there for quite a while, just that connection with the community and what it meant, do you know what I mean, to play for that club. As I said, put that shirt on, I just felt you were a better player.
Yeah.
You felt a better player, or you had the mentality to work harder and try and achieve, you know. And I just think, obviously recognising that as a player, then into management, I've always tried to
Do that.
put that onto the team and to the players and stuff like that. Some are more receptive than others, but this group have been really receptive. I think they've understood it, especially from the end of last season. You know, I said to them at the end, you know, this club cannot be, no matter what, it cannot be in that situation.
No.
It cannot be in that situation so many times in the last 5 years. You know, 3 out of the last 5 years for Birmingham is ridiculous. So
you fall through the trapdoor if you keep flirting with it.
but at the end of it's our responsibility to be the first ones to change that. You know, and I said that to the players. They're the first ones. Whatever happens in the future, whether you leave or you stay or whatever it is, you can be remembered, hopefully, as the first ones that put that foundation back in place. And then everyone else that followed you can try and carry that baton on. That's how it should feel like.
From the moment you walked in, you'd have been aware of what Sunday will mean. Do you remember the first time anyone spoke to you about Blues Villa and the magnitude of the fixture? I know you knew already out being the second seed derbies, but when you first came to the club, who was the first person that probably mentioned it to you?
Yes, I think I said it in the first 20 minutes I stepped into the stadium on that press conference, and when obviously announcing that I joined the club, I think it was one of the staff that was working at the club might have done the hospitality boxes outside, like I can remember him saying, I can't remember his name, I think he just said, welcome to the club, just make sure you beat the Villa. Like, which he would have been walking in the door, so that just tells you. I knew it anyway, but that just sort of told you. And I think from that day onwards, at least once a day.
Yeah. Which is amazing. You can't get away from it, can you?
That's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Rivalries, and some are intense, more intense than others. This is an intense one, and especially in this area. You know what I mean? In the Midlands, it's quite fierce, isn't it? You know? So I've always known that from the outside, but now being in it, we had the experience of the first one.
Once a day,
every pretty day. Much. So
I can actually believe that as well. Yeah,
pretty much. I wouldn't say there's many days where I don't hear someone mention that, or something on social media will mention it, or something. You know, it's what it is. So now you understand that.
Yeah. What did you think of the derby from the outside then? Obviously, you were aware of it, but did you know just how hostile it was?
Yeah, like I've watched them. Do you know what I mean? Any derby of it's worth its salt is going to be hostile and loud and aggressive, and when we went down there, I think it was only really when they scored we started the game really, really well. I think we actually quietened them, exactly what you want to do. And, you know, I remember Shea had that second chance at the post. Maybe if that had gone on, I think there's a tipping point to where we might have got the advantage even more, but that's done and dusted. But of course, when they came back into the game, the crowd was up, and the loudness of it. Yeah, and obviously you can taste that atmosphere, can't you? But what I'm really looking forward to is St Andrews. It'll be a different type of feeling to Villa Park, and really, I can't wait.
Yeah, it is. There's a maliciousness, there's an intimidation factor at St Andrews.
Is that from you?
Yeah, I'll have to keep it under control in the press box.
Are you going to have one of the hoodies?
You're saying you'll be coming down to the dugout.
No, all bark, no bite. But that's where I think the difference is. I think, I obviously work for the club, so it's going to be coming from a certain bias, but they've got 42,000 in the stadium. It's going to be loud when they score, but I just feel like there's not that intimidation when you go to Villa Park. Okay. Whereas I feel like St Andrews on Derby Day, I'm sure everyone, especially from their side, will know straight away that they're in a game. Yeah. It's a cauldron, and because of how close you are to the pitch, and you can't get away from it, and that's what I think can make a difference.
Yeah, I think as players, it's playing in those atmospheres. You know what to expect, but it's kind of like you've got to. It's not put that to the side because you need to use that as that energy to thrive off it, but you also need to know your performance will give that atmosphere a boost. So it's focusing really hard on your job, doing it at your highest level, and bringing that intensity and that passion and all those things that everyone wants to see. But I think it's making sure that it doesn't go over the top, you know. So it's a difficult one. I've played in derbies and been involved in derbies where sometimes got it spot on, sometimes a little bit too low, and sometimes over the top.
Such a fine balance.
Yeah, but I think the team that can focus on its role or job the best in that type of atmosphere whilst thriving off it tend to give themselves a good chance of getting the right result.
Yeah.
What's it like in the South Wales derby? Playing in it, managing in it?
It's,
fierce one.
Yeah, incredibly fierce. I love those games. It was really, really fierce. It was the whole thing. It wasn't just during the game. It was the travel into the game. I always remember they literally just stopped it when I moved there. It was the first one, but what they used to do there was down the M4 corridor there was bridges all the way down. Those little foot bridges.
Yeah.
And whoever was playing away, the home team would line the bridges, throw bricks at the coaches, and if it was the other way around, that home team would line a bit, and then obviously the police started to
River Plate.
Yeah.
But what I noticed in those ones, it was on the they would try all sorts. If you were outside the ground, chucking stuff, making it hostile, not just whilst you're in the ground. It was everything. So there's been a few
incidents,
tasty ones. But I used to love those atmospheres, playing in them.
Yeah.
I think it was like that kind of, like you said there, it's that atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where it's tangible.
Yeah.
It feels like it could go off.
Yeah.
Even though it's policed incredibly well.
It's simmering.
Yeah, even though it's policed incredibly well now, which you needed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because, as much as it's rivalry and passion, you don't want to see silly things going off in and around the ground and stuff. That's just, it's ridiculous, really. But, you need it on that edge to, play the game. I always felt that those ones were the ones, if you're a good player, you'd try and respond to that and embrace it,
Do you think we've got a group that will thrive in that atmosphere?
Yeah, I hope so. We've tried to come a long way mentality-wise. We tried to make St Andrews really strong this year, and we've been trying to show our fight this year, as a group of everyone, players and staff and club. So, I expect the players to relish it, and it'll be a difficult game.
Yeah.
For me, offensively, option-wise, Aston Villa probably have the strongest squad in the league. Do you know what I mean? On paper, for sure. We're going to have to be at our best. But I've said that in every game. Yeah. Regardless of who you're playing against, we're the type of team that has to be near enough our best levels or above it to get things. We haven't every point that we've earned. We've actually properly earned it. We've had nothing given to us. So I think that won't change now just because we're into the last few games of the season. But this team's been prepared to do it, and it'll be another game. I'm sure there won't be much needed motivation to try and show that fight as well again. So that's why I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure the players are as well.
Yeah, I was just mentioning to the players how you can't get away from the fixture, but I think from a fan point of view as well, going into work, and we spoke to a former player yesterday saying, that's the main thing, that you want to go into work on Monday morning and have the bragging rights and have the bit of banter, and it's all friendly stuff. But it's been 13 games in the league since we got a positive result against them. So it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, we need to address that, and but Villa will know that as well, and they'll want to show as strong as fight as what we want to do. But of course, when you're at home and you're on your own patch and you've got all your own fans there, again, it can go one or two ways. You can see that as a real pressure and not perform, or you can relish that and go out there. That's what I expect from the players. That's what we prepare them for each and every game, and especially in these games. And I just think it's great.
One thing that struck me after the whole game, I think in your post-match comments, it was looking ahead to Sunday, and it was about Sunday being the biggest game of the season now.
Yeah.
Which I thought, from a manager's point of view, to come out and just let's address it. Boom, this is the biggest game of the season. It's quite a bold move to make. From a manager's point of view?
Yeah, but it's the truth, isn't it? You've got to respect the rivalry and the history of it, and there's no shying away from it. You've got to stand up and be counted. In every game, but in these games, of course, without a doubt. But I think I'm confident in this team. I think they've tried to show that all season. They've tried to stand up and be counted, and I can promise them it won't be through a lack of effort and fight and commitment for that shirt on Sunday, because it's been no different in any other game. So. Sometimes, where we're at in terms of the squad, and compared to Aston Villa and all those things, of course there's a difference in terms of depth of quality and stuff like that. But that doesn't just give you the right to win a game. No. You have to have a lot of elements that go with that, and we have a lot of other elements. Going forward, we want to add that quality and help the team that's already here. Yeah. But that's just part of the process where we're at. But I can promise you, 100%, there'll be a real fight from our players. I'm more than confident of that.
Yeah. What's it like the week before the game, out and about in the city? Is it all you hear about?
You just get in your bunker in your back garden put your tin out on.
Knuckle down.
Yeah. No, it's great. You know, to be honest with you, I think the passion's been there every single week. I don't think
if you're hearing about it every day, it don't make a difference whether it's the week leading up to it or not.
Of course, everyone gets more excited. It's closer to the game. You know what I mean? But I think our job is to just focus on what we're doing. Up here is a focus on what we do. You know, it's keep it calm. You know, fire in the belly, but.
This is like a drawing board up here. This is where you get away from all the emotional stuff, and this is right.
Yeah. And also some of these games, like I said, I've seen it before, where if you waste too much emotional energy, you know what I mean, you can feel a bit drained come game day. So it's, of course, everyone understands the importance of this type of game, especially for our fans. Like you said, they're the bragging rights and all those things that go with it. But you've got to make sure, like I said, it's a very fine balance. You can't waste your emotional energy, do you know what I mean, too much and be drained come the game. So it's just trying to, like we do, we try and prepare that pretty much every game. These ones where the senses are a little bit more heightened because of what it means to, especially the fans. Let's try and prepare that properly and come to the game, 90 minutes, everything that you got, and I think that's all you can ask for. Yeah. But if you do that and you do it to a high level, you give yourself a good chance of getting the result you want as well. Yeah.
First memory of Blues Villa?
You know what, I started going to games quite young, so my first memories aren't brilliant, but the one that sticks out to me, Carling Cup 2011. Quarter-final, in the snow at St Andrews. Yeah. We all know what happened after that, so I mean, that's always got to be number one for me.
Yeah.
You down?
I was 11 when we first got to the Premier League. We hadn't played in the league for 17 years. My dad took me down. I remember walking.
You supported Walsall now, didn't you?
Very much a Blues fan. So we were walking to the ground, and I can still see it. The helicopter was right above the partition of the away and home fans, where the Cop corner meets the away entrance. I remember being 11, being physically scared by walking. It's a Monday night game. They haven't done it since because of all the silliness outside. But I remember walking, thinking this is something else. And we scored. We won 3-0. I remember looking across the stand, and it was physically shaking. It's the single best atmosphere I've ever.
Were you scared?
Yeah, as an 11-year-old. I think I had SATs the next day. 100% think I had tests the next day.
How did you get on in your SATs?
It didn't matter, did it? We won the game. But yeah, so that's my earliest memory, and still the best atmosphere I remember being part of. That's a proper Blues Villa atmosphere. Yeah, which is good. You mentioned the frustrations about, you know, now you've got to a certain place with the team. You've addressed lots of the stuff that needed to be in terms of closeness of support and, you know, changing mentalities around the place. Still, we have all the ongoing noise from outside the club. I know you've always said it's not been a frustration. You can only concentrate on what you're doing, but is it now got to a stage where you just want to find out what's happening and you can go from there? You just need to know where you are, put you in the picture.
Yeah, look, clarity is the biggest thing in anyone's jobs, isn't it? You know, knowing exactly what you can and you can't do and where you're going. You know, everyone wants that. You know, everyone at the club wants that, and of course, having that sooner rather than later would have. I said that since the summer. Do you know what I mean? And unfortunately, we haven't had that, but for whatever reasons. But as I said before, I can't waste energy on that. You know, I can't control any of that. I can only control what I can control, which is the work we do here every day, what we try and do on a match day, and promote the other things that we have done. You know, and I just think you can't do everything at once. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. We can't do everything at once. We all want it now. We want the end product now. We want the best possible Birmingham team possible and all those things, and achieve this and this. But you can't do it all at once, and you can't. Do you know what I mean? But what we've managed to do is put the most important things in place that allow you, hopefully, if that clarity comes, to be able to move forward and you know, from where we are now. But
do you think that's probably a problem with the short-termism in football management now? Is, you know, the jobs. It's so difficult to sustain a place in the managerial hot seat for long enough to address everything that needs to be addressed at a club, whether it's that close with support, an academy system, you know, making sure you're getting performances on the team. You need that longevity to start addressing all the facets that make a football club. Yeah,
but I think the longer you do this job, the more you realise that that's out of your hands. You know what I mean? That you haven't got time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And as much as every manager that you speak to will always tell you time is what you need, which is logic. Unfortunately, logic's not
practical
in football much anymore. Do you know what I mean? But you don't fight against that. You understand that, and I think what you try and do, like I'm done with every job I've done, like especially here, is how you get to that long term is what you do in the short term. So doing what we've done, concentrating on just, I said you can't do everything at once, so put foundations in, concentrate on them, try and get them strong. Is what allows you that time. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you have to get results.
Yeah.
You have to get enough positive results to be able to maintain what you're building, the foundations wise, to then go forward and after that. But then what you need then is, every club's got a different situation. Our situation is we need clarity, we need to know how we're going to move forward. Everyone needs that. So these foundations aren't wasted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you can actually build upon them. But the club know that, everyone knows that. That's what we want. But we're still waiting clarification for that. So, yeah, again,
head down, get on with it.
Yeah, nothing we can do about that.
Yeah.
But of course, sooner the better for our point of view. Like I said, to make sure that the short-term stuff that we've put in place, obviously that's for long-term as well, is to be able to build upon. That's the most important bit.
How far in the future do you get to plan, in terms of players, pre-season? Do you look far ahead? I know every manager will come out if it's one game at a time, but in truth...
I don't know what's happening in the next hour.
So I rated as a top job outside.
No, we... all that side of it is... we have everything planned. Do you know what I mean? We know what we're doing for the month ahead, and pre-season things and stuff like that. We've already been talking about that, but from a football perspective, we plan a month ahead of ourselves. Right. But of course, then there's the mini cycle of the week ahead, and have that planned out for. Do you know what I mean? That following game and knowing what that looks like, and then you're just tweaking. Maybe it's availability of players and numbers and positions, but the content and everything that we're going to do is normally planned out for. We have the schedule for the month, and then we have a content for at least a week,
right? And
then it's just tweaked.
Wow.
You know what I mean? We have a meeting in the morning of each day, have the content there, and then how's that tweaked with the numbers that we have or availability, and that's how we kind of work. So it is all planned, and it makes that as part of making your job a little bit easier.
Yeah, I did want to bring up one question actually. I was looking at I think it was one of the first interviews you done with you. It's more about you as a person rather than a football manager. When I asked you, it was probably if pizza should go on pineapple should go on pizza, that sort of interview.
Yeah.
And I asked
horrendous question. Yeah,
but you said you like pineapple, so it's not got a problem with going on pizza. I thought it's horrendous.
That's outrageous.
I said you can't trust people who put pineapple on
No,
pizza. And you said why can't you trust them?
Yeah, but I don't like pineapple. I wouldn't eat pineapple. The only time I've ever
is on a pizza.
Is on a pizza.
That's the worst.
But that's probably
Probably
because my daughter likes pineapple on the pizza, whatever.
So you just have it because it's around.
Yeah. So are you saying that I can't trust my daughter? Is that what you're saying?
It's all right.
No, I respect that. I would respect it if that's what you say. But because then if she leaves a bit, I'll have a bite. Or whatever. I wouldn't order her.
The one thing that I was going to pick up on from that interview was I asked you how long you think it would take for you to learn the words to Key Right On.
Right.
And you said maybe kids have to learn it first and then they'll sing it around the house.
So they're getting close to it now, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, how far away do you reckon you are from every word?
I think my daughter knows every word, but she gets the sentences muddled up a little bit.
Yeah. But
I've read it all down and read it, but I haven't. Yeah, my singing's not great, and then it's like...
It would be a bit weird if you saw the manager singing Keep Right On.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're going to get a rendition. Or...
Yeah, it would be a bit weird.
I will do. But before the end of the season, I'll give you a rendition. Okay. Yeah?
Yeah,
we'll get that in the diary.
Yeah, but you've committed to it now.
And I'll bring my little choir, my two boys and my daughter, as a choir backing vocals.
Yeah. You know what you have perfected quite well as well? Notice this. The wave to them.
It's more than clap.
It's to the kids.
Oh, to the kids?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you meant to the fans.
No, because it's like...
Yeah.
Clearly to your kids.
Yeah.
But it's still like acceptable to be on camera.
Yeah, because we get you at full time of every match, right above the dugout.
Yeah.
So
little waving the kids.
Straight down the camera.
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah, little wave.
Nice, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your family, man.
Yeah. It'd be weird if it wasn't.
Yeah, I think I'm just. I think I'm just doing it to the press and running around them, like, that's what.
It's probably a good way to sign up.
Yeah. I keep my kids sit the other side, so I'm just doing it to randoms.
Yeah, they just get a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Gaffer, thank you ever so much for your time.
So, mate.
The very first Blues Talk podcast. So hopefully we'll be sitting here in a few weeks' time talking about a fantastic result.
Go into more stuff.
Yeah.
When you've got this all done to how you want it, and
when we've got our house in order.
I'm last in your pile again, and then we can do a proper one.
Sean Rush has not nominated himself to be next by getting involved.
I think that's careful. Been signed, hasn't it?
He's from Hull, so be careful, all right?
And we can't. How are we going to translate?
Yeah,
because it's
you have to get a translator in.
We can put subtitles on the video at least. That'll be fine.
We'll do that. All right.
Yeah.
Gavin, thanks again.
Pleasure.
Cheers, chaps.
The Blues Talk podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.
What a man. I say that as as a Blue Nose sat here, not someone who works for the club, what he has done at the club in just a year is nothing short of unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, he just seems to get it, doesn't he? I think Birmingham City is a club, as he said, it's a working man's club. We know what we are. And I just think from the minute he walked through the doors, he had that connection. He got a feel for the place. And he set about making the connection between supporters and the club as tight as it could be. And it does make a big difference. You know, you see the players out and about in the community. It's been fantastic. But there, as he says, it's a results-based business. You know, all of that's great, and getting the players out and the Jeff Horsfield Foundation and making the links with local schools and charities. But if you're losing every week, it doesn't go down very well with supporters. So the results, first and foremost, are the most important thing. But the whole package that he's brought, and his backroom staff, I don't think you can overlook the impact that James Beattie's had. Yeah. Is it a coincidence that Lukas Jukovic has 10 goals, 10 assists as we sit here, and Shay Adams is, the first Blue striker to score over 20 goals since Steve Claridge. So, James Beattie's brought a different element to the attacking side of the team. Pep Clotet, we're privy to training, to the training ground sessions that he puts on. Yeah. Set pieces is being key to. Very much a tactician there as well. The Spanish brains behind the team. Yeah. And then not forgetting Sean Rush, Ryan Needs. Ryan Needs, of course, the analysis arm of the team. And Sean Rush, I can't remember a Blue side looking as fit as they have. So the whole of the backroom team, spearheaded by Garry Monk, have just been phenomenal since they walked in.
And they get Blues as well, don't they, like you said. And as we heard from the gaffer there, he's well up for Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. You can sense it in his voice. And I know managers, and this is probably why a podcast was a perfect format for this. The manager has to do his pre-match press conferences, and he's aware that obviously the press are all there, and he has to put on the managerial hat.
Yeah, manager mode, I think he called it.
He said it himself, didn't he? Yeah. Manager mode. I feel like there you could sense that he wants this place, St Andrews, to be an absolute cauldron on Sunday. He wants the intimidation factor. He wants it to be loud and hostile. He gets the importance of that. Mm-hmm. To have, 28, 27,000 fans in here, making it really difficult for the away side. And a few of them won't have ever stepped into an atmosphere like it on Sunday. And I think he encourages it. So, we have a manager who gets the club. Results have been fantastic. Now it's all on about the big one. And what impressed me, and I did, as we just heard, say to him as soon as that whole game finished, in his post-match comments, it was, Blues Villa, this is the biggest game of our season. And it's quite refreshing to hear a manager say that.
It's what the fans are thinking. It's what I'm thinking. It's what you're thinking.
Yeah, but some would be safe.
Yeah.
Some would think, I don't want to put too much pressure on my players. I don't want to big this game up. It's just another 3 points. It's really interesting when you listen to managers' comments leading up to any derby, what approach they take. Mm-hmm. And he came out and said, this is the biggest game of the season. So the build-up's all there. And if your manager's saying it and you're a player, there's no uncertain terms as to what this means on Sunday.
How much you're looking forward to it. We spoke at the training ground about our Blues Villa memories. We're both massive Blues fans sat here. It doesn't get bigger than this, does it?
No. It's a one-off fixture. As the manager said as well, every club who's in a big city derby will say that this is the big one. But outside of Celtic Rangers, which for obvious reasons is a huge derby, I think this is the biggest one. I think the second city in the country. You have Aston Villa aside, who will crown themselves as the more successful team over the years. A bit of a highbrow club.
Yeah.
Have supporters from further afield than we do. But to me, and like you say, I'm not going to hide the fact that we're both supporters of the club. This is the club of the city. Real salt-of-the-earth people who come down and support Blues and who have been deprived, other than that 2011 Cup victory, of real success in terms of silverware. But that's part of being a Blues fan. I think every young supporter is told when they're a kid, the joys and the sorrows, ups and the downs will disappoint you, but the highs, the elation is unbelievable.
More sorrows than joys, I think, is the phrase that I got when I was a kid.
Yeah, but then that mentality has to change over time. That's what Garry Monk's here to do. It's to build that foundation to make us a successful club. And the victories over Blues Villa are the ones that stay in your mind for a very long time. As we spoke about those early memories when you were a young lad, and you're down here at St Andrews, and it's just so hostile, and the tension's there, and you win the game, and they stay with you for a long time.
You mentioned they have fans from further afield than we do, but even in the city itself, it almost splits, doesn't it, coming up to this one? Like going through town, suddenly everyone's wearing, I don't know, Villa shirts, Villa coats. You see more Blues shirts than you see in a normal week.
Yeah.
Almost like South Birmingham becomes Blues and then North Birmingham becomes Villa.
Yeah, the battle lines are drawn.
This is it, mate. It adds to the tension, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I remember early on, there's a good friend of mine, he's still a good mate now. And he's a Villa fan, I'm a Blues fan, and we had the obvious banter. But when you're a kid, I don't know, maybe as you get older you try and be a bit more mature and sensible about it, but it meant everything when we were a kid. And we had words ahead of the game. And then after the game, we beat them. And he said, right, after school, I'm going to meet you in the foyer. So I'm going in ready to,
to shake hands, yeah?
Ready to, clash with this lad. I'm thinking, bloody hell, look at what I got myself into here. And as soon as I walked through the door, he gave me a big hug, and that was it. And we were both like, right, okay. Because it does, something takes over you when you step into the ground. It's the only thing that matters on the earth for those 90 minutes. And so... But you'll have that. I mean, we spoke to Paul Tate this week. Mm-hmm. Paul Tate, former Blues legend.
He's a man who gets the rivalry.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. But he's someone who himself says, he goes to work on Monday, and that's what his thought process is. He walks his dog with a Villa fan, so he knows he's going to get it in the ear from him. He works with a Villa fan. And that will be replicated throughout the city of, Blues fans and Villa fans going to work together, neighbours. And you don't want to be on the receiving end of a few jibes because you lost the game. So lots riding on it from a fan's point of view. From me, it's all about just seeing this St Andrews rocking at its very best.
Those feelings are going to come back, aren't they? All the nostalgic ones. The second that we walk out into the stands at St Andrews on Sunday and see the pitch for the first time, it's all going to come flooding back.
I think it starts for me, Callum, when the alarm goes off on match day. I genuinely think it starts at that point. We'll go to bed on Saturday night, as this goes out tonight, and then the alarm goes off on Sunday, and it is the Christmas Day feeling. Genuinely, I'm picturing it now. Waking up, I'm thinking, it's finally here, because the build-up's been, since the whole game, but further afield than that. It's on the horizon, a month away, 2 months away. So the minute I wake up on Sunday, when that alarm goes off, then you get that little butterflies in your belly and you get ready to go. But it's a mixture of fear. It's a concoction of fear, of excitement, apprehension, all thrown into one. Wake up, head to the ground. From a media point of view, obviously you have a little bit of work to do before everyone starts to pour in.
Then the real work starts on the pitch.
Yeah, and then it's kick-off time. We'll obviously have Garry McSheffrey and Dele Adebola with us for Blues TV.
Man.
Yeah, the big man who'll be able to preview the game for us. Paul Robinson's kindly joining Jonathan Bell for commentary, so he'll be up for it, no doubt, knowing his character. He'll find it tough to contain himself on co-commentary.
I've had a word with Jonathan, asked him to make sure that it's all kept clean on commentary. So
yeah, I think Robbo's professional enough to switch that mode on, but he'll struggle to keep it together if we do score and go on to win the game. He knows what it means. Everything about it's a fantastic event, but you only enjoy it if you get the 3 points on the day.
Well, one man who will be looking forward to it. He's captained the side in quite a few Second City derbies now. Still yet to win. He'll be looking to change that on Sunday. Dale went down to the training ground to get some quick-fire questions with Michael Morrison.
The Blues Talk Podcast.
What music do you listen to before a game?
Oh, whatever rubbish Harley Dean's put on.
Snapchat story or Instagram stories?
Instagram.
Favourite restaurant to eat?
Gaucho's.
Your karaoke song?
Oh, Benny King.
Favourite movie?
Gladiator.
Which country produces the best food?
Japan.
What's your middle name?
Brian.
Ideal holiday destination?
Mallorca.
What's your order from a coffee shop?
Latte.
Best goal you've ever seen whilst on the pitch?
John Terrell, Burnley. That was a good goal.
Decent. Have you met your sporting hero? And who is it?
Ian Wright. Yeah, sporting hero Ian Wright. Played with his son at Charlton.
Decent. What instruction do you give to the barbers when they ask what you want done to your hair?
My friend's my barber, so he knows what he's doing, so I don't tell him anything.
What's your favourite cheat meal?
McDonald's. Secret McDonald's fan.
NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball, or none?
No, I ain't got into any of them, no.
Can you play a musical instrument?
No, not at all.
One person, dead or alive, you'd like round to dinner?
Leonardo DiCaprio, good actor.
Solid. Can you speak another language?
No.
Which Hollywood actor would you choose to play yourself in a Hollywood movie?
Leonardo DiCaprio, yeah, played nice, didn't it?
Decent. If the whole squad had a Royal Rumble, who would be left in the ring at the end?
Mark Roberts, definitely.
Solid. Best pair of trainers or boots you've ever owned?
I don't know. I had a gold pair of Adidas boots, Predators.
You have the gold ones?
That I liked, yeah.
New ones out.
Yeah, I had a gold pair of them a few years back,
Nice.
actually.
What's your favourite pizza?
Plain, I just like margarita, yeah. Easily pleased.
Favourite ice cream?
Vanilla, again, easily pleased. Just do it right, get the little pods in.
Timeless
Happy.
classics.
Yeah.
Aftershave of choice?
Paco Rabanne Million.
If you could be any nationality other than your own, what would it be?
American.
What's the strangest thing you've eaten?
I had duck hearts a little while back.
Anything on your bucket list?
Yeah, I want to go San Francisco, I want to go Alcatraz, not been there yet.
Do you ever have a reoccurring dream or a dream that...
Nah.
Are you addicted to anything?
Bad on my phone, I'm bad on my phone, I think everyone is. Need a coffee in the morning. Typical ones, really.
Have you got any words that you particularly like or dislike?
No, I think someone close to me would probably be better with that one.
Favourite city other than Birmingham?
I like Cambridge, where I'm from, really. That's the biggest city where we're from. I like that. It's a good city. Very nice.
Favourite, have you got any memorabilia?
No, just the stuff that I've won.
Yeah. And finally, have you ever read a book cover to cover?
Yeah, there's a little book club, actually. Well, there was when Adam Legston was here, but yeah, there's a few lads that like a little book.
The Blues Talk Podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.
Nice to catch up with Michael Morrison earlier at the training ground. A few quickfire questions. A bit of a novelty feature for Blues Talk. Can't all be serious stuff about what's happening on the pitch.
No, and you got the real insight about the book club there. I mean, that is what I think you're listening for, really.
Yeah. Bit of culture among the Blues squad. Yeah, himself, Lucas Jukovic, Michael Kieftenbeld, they're all a tightly knit triangle. Was it when Morrow and Juki went to see Keith and he had the banner held out at the airport?
Yes,
welcoming
I remember seeing that on
to
Instagram.
Amsterdam. Yeah, what a guy. So yeah, good to catch up with Morrow. He also spoke to the press after, just talking about the game. And like you say, he's captain the Blue side now. Probably the most experienced member of the Blue squad in this fixture. Yeah. Jack Magoma as well has been at the club for a few years, but Morrow, I think he's played in every one of them. So he knows what it's all about. I think one of the questions were during the press conference, if you had advice for a player who hasn't played in the fixture yet, what would it be? He says, if you think you're going to have time on the ball, think again. And it's something that I've been talking about all week. I think the first 10 minutes will be 100 miles an hour, frantic. The weather's going to be wet, windy.
I was just saying, it's freezing in the studio now, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like on Sunday morning.
Yeah, wet and windy. A greasy surface will add to it. Great playing field as we look over the stand now. Playing surface. So, yeah, all the things are in place to make it a fantastic, quick, tempoed, furious game. But like I say, the result's all that matters from our point of view. So we'll see what happens.
Bit of team news for Sunday then. Maxime Collin obviously went off just before half-time at Hull. Won't make it for Sunday's fixture. Also, Gary Gardner, what's happened there? I know that the manager touched on it briefly in his press conference.
Yeah, so the gaffer was asked, obviously, we know Gary Gardner, there's going to be an opportunity for another player to come in and make an impact, whether that's a David Davis. Charlie Lakin's only just back in training, so really it's a toss-up between David Davis and Craig Gardner. But it was almost considered done, the fact that Gary Gardner could definitely not play. The gaffer revealed that he had actually spoken to Aston Villa about whether guards could play. Whether it was a bit tongue-in-cheek or not, we're not too sure. Having cleared things up with the club secretary, there is something in place that prevents Gary Gardner to play in the fixture. It's almost in every loan deal that you can't play against your parent club. It makes no sense.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
I thought he'd be out.
Yeah, so it is in his contract. I think that he can't play against Blues anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered whether they said yes.
It would have been bizarre if they said yes. It hadn't been in his contract. He scores in front of the tilt and then just replicates his celebration from a few years back.
Yeah, still need to pick him up on that. Still need to pick him up on that.
Well, we'll do it. We'll get him on Blues Talk and we'll interrogate him for half an hour.
Absolutely. So that's the big intrigue, I think, come 11 o'clock on Sunday when the teams come out, is to how does Garry Monk adapt, one, to Maxime Collin, who, like you say, at that Hull game, he was stretching to stop a defensive clearance. He was high up the pitch. I think he was following a corner, just pinged his hamstring and tried to make a recovery run when Hull went on the counter-attack and straight away signalled across to the bench. So, he'll be looking to return in the international break, according to the gaffer. Whereas Gary Gardner obviously can't play. So it's David Davis, it's Craig Gardner, or it's a change of system again. We've seen him deploy the diamond a few weeks ago.
Do you think we'll see a return of the diamond?
Yeah, well, that gives him a few other options. Whether he goes with a diamond or not, it's up to him. Does he get the best out of Hotter? Can you get other players in the pitch? Marabti, Mahoney, Kiftenbeld, they're all can play in there. Magoma as well, of course, experienced in it. So 1 or 2 unknowns going into Sunday morning that will hopefully be revealed an hour before kickoff.
We talk about Blues being due a win. I think Hotter and Magoma are due goals. They've both had almost like, and same goes for Shea, just the complete opposite of luck.
Yeah, in
recent fixtures. At Villa Park earlier in the season. Hotter obviously here last year. Magoma a couple of times in the League Cup especially.
Yeah.
They are each of them due a goal. So what are we saying? 3-0?
I'd take a 1-0 horror show and just get out of there with the 3 points and the bragging rights. You're quite right. I don't feel like, and you don't ever blame luck, but I don't feel like we've had the rub of the green. Hotter breaking through and ballooning one into the tilt, and Shea crashing the one off the post at Villa Park earlier. If that goes in, it's a different game. I
just think as well with that 2 months later, that's it.
Yeah, and those are the fine points in a game that can decide derbies, whether it's a mistake, a bit of quality, whatever it might be. And we haven't had those go for us. So, and just the law of averages alone, I mean, you're looking at 13 league games over 14 years that we haven't got a result against them. Now, just...
Cheers for the reminder.
Yeah, but just by law of averages, you're due a result. There can't be a record like that against many other clubs in this division. Hull we don't tend to get a result against for whatever reason, but there can't be many others against Championship clubs where we just haven't got a result home or away.
It's weird, isn't it?
For as long as it is, especially making it worse by the fact that they're your local rivals. So we're due one. We're in a fantastic season. Looking up towards the playoff places. The manager obviously is concentrating on the next game. You hear all the cliches come out, but they've just been enjoying the ride, and that's been the message from the manager. Whenever we question him on, or whether the external press question him on, is the playoffs a possibility? You have to be looking up. He's saying, listen, we are what we are. We've defied the odds. Enjoy what's happening now, and let's see where we go. So, from the outside, this is as good a chance for the boys to get a result against Villa. Amazing how a week changes things. They go and get a result at Derby. Not a full strength Derby County have to add, but go and get a result. Jack Grealish returns to the side. Captain scores a fantastic volley. Now they're all of a sudden can't wait for this derby and fancy their chances. But it wasn't too long ago that they couldn't pick a result up for Toffee. So let's see what happens on Sunday. Which Aston Villa turn up, because they won't fancy it down here. I tell you that. Well,
fingers crossed that in 2 weeks' time we'll be returning with Blues Talk and talking about our second City derby win in the league. Well, it's 14 years now, isn't it? Yeah. 15 games.
In the league. 13 games, 14 years. Long enough.
Yeah.
So, lots of big plans for the podcast. Hopefully we can kick this one off with a memorable win over that lot down the road.
Right, until next time, I've been Callum Denning.
And I've been Dale Moon.
See you in 2 weeks' time.
The Blues Talk Podcast with Dale Moon and Callum Denning.